What's up, y'all? It's A-Takes or Antonio Prince Daniels, sport broadcaster here for 92.3 The Depot radio station in Marshall, Texas, and we're covering all Hallsville football all fall. Let's get into it. Well, last season, as they end off the 2025 season, a 2-8 record to end off 2-4 in 5A D2 district play, and that's just not going to get it done. They went 5th in district. They scored 14.9 points per game, and they gave up 27.6. That's a minus 12.7 point differential. Definitely not going to get it done in 5A football here in Texas. But looking at their home and away total, just 0-6 at home. Only scored 20 plus points twice, and they gave up 28 plus 5 times. And 2-2 away, well, they scored 13 or less 3 times. That's just not going to get it done against these elite rushing offenses here in East Texas. And they gave up 14 or less points in both of their wins. That's something to look at in Coach Strickland's 3-4-4 defense. But they scored 52 points at Jacksonville, and man, was Caden Wallace on fire. That sophomore quarterback, he's excelling for sure. But what can he do when the offense expands? Looking at the film, the offense really wasn't as expanded as it should have been. Caden Wallace doing a lot of RPO, a lot of just quick game dropbacks. And as he matures, I expect Coach Strickland to really open up that offense. Well, their best game was that 52-14 win at Jacksonville last season, and they had 2 interceptions on defense, 0 passing touchdowns given up, and a 54.9 quarterback rating given up from this Hallsville defense. Only 68 rushing yards given up, and 2 running backs that average less than 3 yards per carry. That's just not going to do it if you are Jacksonville, but if you are Hallsville, it's just beautiful to see it all around. See the defense being very complimentary towards the offense. Looking at the offense in that game, Caden Wallace, like I said, he was on fire. The Peyton Manning archetype wind-up quarterback, 226 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 a tight end bootleg to the flat. The second one was a 15-yard curl, and the receiver just took it 68 yards to the house, blazing speed, and a fake screen and go. And that fake screen and go really showed me that when Caden Wallace puts the ball deep into the air, he has a quiet but deadly deep ball that would really have the defenses open up their eyes and start to drop back into deeper coverages. Because I tell you, he has that Peyton Manning, that slow windup for a quarterback, but it is accurate as can be, and his mid-range game is really exceptional. I'd love to see this offense out of him in his junior year as they really expand the concepts. Well, we look at the highs, let's look at the lows. Their worst game was a 50-3 loss at Mount Pleasant. And how did they really lose this game? What wasn't working for them? Well, they gave up 30 points in the first quarter, 44 points in the first half. And DeCorian Thompson from Mount Pleasant, 100 plus yards and 2 TDs given up against that cover 3 defense for Hallsville. Well, I know a player that can stop that. We'll get into that eventually, as Hallsville has a returning cornerback who does run track, one of the faster players in East Texas. Well, continuing to look at the stats for Mount Pleasant's offense in that 50-3 win over Hallsville, 4 rushing touchdowns and 4 passing touchdowns. That is just complimentary offensive football right there. You have the balance between the offense and between the air and the ground, and that's just really hard to stop, especially when your offense has 5 turnovers, 4 punts, 2 turnovers on down, 2 interceptions, and 3 fumbles for the Hallsville offense in that game. It just was all over the place. Looking at the film, their head wasn't in the game. Caden Wallace, he seemed like he was rushed. He was rushing his game. When it comes to quick game, there was too much quick game where it made him rush his throws. Like I said, the intermediate game is where he really excels. Once he slows down and lets the concepts open up in that level 2 defense, that's when he really drives that ball down the field. You can see them score points. 52 points, like I said, versus Jacksonville. He can do it. He can do it. Well, looking at their formations and their schemes, coverages, and concepts for this 2025 Hallsville, can Coach Strickland bring this and really excel on it? Can he really build on this? Defensively, they really don't change anything. A 3-down lineman with a 3-4-4 set and a hanging backer, and they run a lot of rotation cover 3 out of that. And the strong side backer blitz, which is that Sam backer, he is the playmaker and run support, and that's really what Coach Strickland wants to look for in his defense, that Sam or that Will Backer. When the offense motions, that Will Backer will now become the blitzing defender. And that's what Coach Strickland is really looking for, especially against those A-gap and B-gap runs. Well, looking at the offense, pistol two-back set out of 12 personnel. They love to run those two running backs on the side of Caden Wallace and just have them both either go into the flats or just have one coming in from the pipe and then one, coming out the pipe, and then hopefully he goes to score a 68-yarder just like one of his receivers did on the curl route. Well, looking at their 11 personnel, tight end trips out of 11 personnel. Sometimes they will go into doubles, but when they have that 11 personnel with the tight end, he will motion about 9 times out of 10. And honestly, it really opens up those A-gap runs when it comes to the run game for Hallsville's offense. And you want to continue to see those halfback dives, those wildcat motions with their two-set running backs. So just bring in the running back for quarterback, have those wildcat motions. It works a lot. And then an extension off of that wildcat motion is the jet sweep to the slot receiver. And honestly, they average about 10 yards per play on that. I really want to see Coach Strickland get into that. I also want to see Coach Strickland get into that jet sweep play action. Maybe have that sweeper go into the wheel route, and with that quiet but deadly deep ball from Caden Wallace, I can see that play really executing with unmeasurable imagines. Well, continuing to look at their offense, like I said, a lot of RPO quick game for the younger Wallace. Will they expand route concepts as he matures? Caden Wallace, I saw, like I said, a lot of his intermediate passing game when it comes to the curl route, the out route. It is as accurate as can be here in East Texas, one of the more accurate East Texas quarterbacks. And he also was district player of the week versus Jacksonville, and he also had all district honors for quarterback as a sophomore. So he's going into his junior year with a couple of accolades showing that he can ball out. And can it carry on? Can Coach Strickland really put it in the best possible positions, the best offensive schemes and concepts to really just excel his game and open up Wallace even more? Like I said, he's a Peyton Manning type of quarterback. Once he makes those right reads, it is accurate as can be. It is on the money. And these defenses, they might see a slow winding ball come down the field, but hey, if it's accurate, you can't get to it. I'll just say that again. If it's accurate, you can't get to it. But we have to start looking at the returning players that will make an impact on this Jacksonville team, or excuse me, this Hallsville team. Like I said, this Hallsville team has the accolades and the right scheme to become a playoff type of team. Won 5th in district last year, but they can beat teams such as Lindale, Jacksonville, Nacogdoches. They only lost to Nacogdoches by 1 point, beat White House by 7. They lost to Marshall and Mount Pleasant by a surmountable amount of points. But my point is, they've excelled in certain times of the game to the point where they show promise. Caden Wallace shows promise. Remy Mills, 6 tackles a game as their D lineman. That is another player I want to mention, another player to watch coming into this 2026 season, as he is that nose tackle within that 3-4-4 stack defense with that blitzing Sam, that he can really rough up that running game. He can really bottle up those A and B gaps as that blitzing Sam also comes in. And Josh Strickland, what he's looking for is sort of like a stack blitz type of look for his 3-4-4 defense. And Remy Mills with his 6 tackles per game as the D lineman. I mean, I don't see anything else really occurring other than him just blowing up down the pipe, blowing up those A-gap runs. And we also have others coming in and just blowing up the runs for the Sam and those Mike Will blitzers. Well, you also want to look at the back end defensively. Jeremiah Harris, a returning DB, was a sophomore last year. Well, he runs track, and he is actually one of the faster players in 5A D2 football here in Texas. That is something you really want to look at. One of the faster players in 5A D2 football. And in that cover 3 look, I mean, if he just baits just a little bit, say if the receiver's running a curl and go, just a little bait, maybe half a second off of his T-step, man, he can burst out of there and really get to that ball. Man, be a ball hawk for this team. He was very quiet last year because his ball hawk tendencies were really coming off of playing sound technical defense. Well, if he really opens up and expands his game, or tries to bait the quarterback a little bit, or maybe show a cover 2 look and then bail out into his cover 3 with his blazing speed, I mean, this defense can really be dangerous, especially with Remy Mills coming down the middle at D-line. I just don't see teams really excelling against that look right there in that 3-4-4 stack. But coming back to the run game offensively for this Hallsville team, and why I think this will be one of the more elite run games in East Texas, Don Thompson, the returning tackle, a senior tackle at that, so he should have maturity up front. He is one of those players to watch, especially in the A-gap runs with the 2 tight end sets. He can really blow up that tight down the middle and really have the running back just blazing speed. Like I said, they had number 2 in the Wildcat formations. They had number 6 in the Wildcat formations. And that double back set with Don Thompson in that tackle in the formation, man, it's only wonders what this offense can really do, especially with Caden Wallace with his amazing intermediate accuracy and then his scary good deep ball. It just shows what this team can really do. And honestly, I cannot wait to broadcast some of these games. I cannot wait to see what Josh Strickland and Dakota McGowan have lined up for this team coming up this season. A lot of promise, and there was a lot of adversity. But honestly, a lot of teams really excel coming out of adversity. A lot of teams really find their success after years of adversity and trials and tribulations. Maybe this is the year they can overcome this trial and tribulations. Like I said, 2-8 last year, but boy, Caden Wallace, he can ball, and that's who you want to ball is your quarterback. Remy Mills, again, D-lineman, 6 tackles per game. He's going to really excel in that 3-4-4 stack at the D-lineman position. Jeremiah Harris, that cornerback, DB Jr. coming in. He's only going to mature more and more, especially as he's a track runner coming onto the football field. It's going to be beautiful just watching that speed and that cover 3 defensive set for Coach Josh Strickland. And then lastly, like I said, Don Thompson, returning tackle. Man, if they can just open up that 2-back set just a little bit, just a little crease in that A-gap, man, for Thompson and them, man, I can just see wonders for this running game. I'm really excited to see this season. I really expect a turnaround season for this 2-8 team and coming in. And honestly, they were 5th in district last year. They had a couple of games where they only lost by 1 possession. I mean, going back to look at it, Nacogdoches, they lost by literally 1 point. They won in a 1-possession game to White House, and they had versus Pine Tree at home a 28-21 overtime loss. So there's games where they're hanging in the game, hanging in the balance, but they're not finishing. And I think where the finishing piece comes from is just that quarterback play. I mean, if you're continuing to run RPO, quick game, A-gap runs the whole game, it's the offense isn't opened up as need be. So once you have, like I said, the expanded concepts from Coach Josh Strickland's offense, the 10-yard outs, the digs, 12-yard curls, corner routes. I even seen a screen and go versus Jacksonville. I mean, it was so beautiful how this offense can get once the concepts are opened up. And in close games this season, expect those concepts to open up. Expect a lot more D-balls. Expect a lot more fun play in these close games. Man, I just cannot wait to see this team play. It's going to be a turnaround season. Hallsville football. Antonio Prince Daniels on this Hallsville season preview. And I will be here for a season post. You know what I'm saying? To talk about how the season went. Hopefully it's post-season talk, and I will be back. Again, I will be broadcasting Hallsville football on 92.3 The Depot, Marshall, Texas, the radio station, and I can't wait. I'm so excited.